She walks into her own wedding wearing 8 rings. Not 1, 8. And by the time the video ends, she's not the bride anymore. She's the judge, jury, and the only person in the room actually in control. What is ATEEZ trying to tell us with Bad? And why does this 3-minute music video feel like it's hiding a much bigger story? Let's find out. On June 26th, 2026, ATEEZ released their 14th mini-album, Golden Hour Part 5. For most groups, a comeback is just a comeback. But for ATEEZ, every chapter of Golden Hour has been building something bigger, a connected universe their fans, known as ATINY, have been piecing together since 2018. And this time, the story didn't just get bigger, it got personal. Chapter 1. The Shift Inward. Every Golden Era release before this one looked outward. Big external threats, big enemies, big battles. Part 5 flips that completely. This time, the story turns inward. It's not about the world attacking the group anymore. It's about something attacking them from the inside. Instinct, desire, and the feeling of losing control over your own emotions. At the center of it is a concept called SOPRO, first introduced quietly in an earlier diary release, but reimagined here as something almost alive. SOPRO is described as an entity that can read another person's emotions and sync with them completely. On paper, that sounds like connection, like understanding. But the album makes something chillingly clear. What looks like empathy can quietly turn into control. And by the time you realize it, you don't know if your feelings were ever really yours to begin with. That's the emotional core hiding underneath every beat of Bad. But the story didn't end there. Chapter 2. A wedding that isn't what it looks like. The music video opens with actress Chase Infiniti in a full wedding gown, walking down the aisle. It looks romantic, traditional, almost innocent. Except she's already wearing 8 engagement rings, 1 for every member of ATEEZ. 8 promises, 8 ties, all at once. For a moment, you'd expect her to be the one trapped here, the classic setup where the woman is the victim of some impossible situation. That's what Bad wants you to believe at first. Then, the video pulls the rug out from under you. Infiniti isn't the one being controlled. She's the one controlling everything. As the choreography unfolds, it's the members of ATEEZ who end up mirroring her movements, not the other way around. The power in the room quietly, completely shifts. And by the video's final scene, she's standing in a courtroom, declared not guilty by a judge, walking out with all 8 rings held up directly to the camera, unbothered, untouchable. What fans soon noticed was that this wasn't just a flashy visual choice. It was the entire theme of SOPRO, acted out in real time. The illusion of intimacy hiding a much colder truth about power and control. Chapter 3. An ATINY in the story. Here's the detail that made this comeback even more special. Chase Infiniti, known for her breakout role in Presumed Innocent and her Oscar-winning film One Battle After Another, isn't just a random casting choice. She's a real, self-declared ATINY, a fan of the group, appearing not as a guest star, but almost as a character written specifically for this universe. For a fandom that spent years building fan theories and timelines around the Golden Hour lore, seeing an actual fan step into the story wasn't just exciting. It felt like the wall between the fictional universe and real life had quietly disappeared. And it clearly struck a nerve. Within 3 weeks of release, Bad had already crossed 35 million views on YouTube, a number that kept climbing as ATEEZ took the song from music platforms straight into the mainstream. They performed it live for the first time at BST Hyde Park in London, then carried it across major festival stages through the summer, and even brought it to American television with a performance on The Kelly Clarkson Show. But the biggest revelation was still to come. Chapter 4. Why this comeback hit different. What made Golden Hour Part 5 stand out wasn't just the story or the star cameo. It was the sound. ATEEZ leaned hard into a Brazilian funk-inspired rhythm for Bad, something the group had never fully committed to before, layering it with hip-hop and Latin pop influences across the rest of the EP. Members Hongjong and Mingi, who've written for the group since their earliest days, were credited on every track again, meaning this wasn't outside writers telling ATEEZ's story for them. It was still, at its core, coming from the members themselves. That's part of why this comeback resonated so deeply. It wasn't just a flashy visual concept, it was 8 years of storytelling, still being shaped by the same people who started it, evolving from external battles into something far more human. A story about how easily connection can blur into control, told through a wedding, a courtroom, and a fan who became part of the fiction she loved. Bad isn't really about a wedding. It's not really about 8 rings or a courtroom verdict either. It's about a group asking a much harder question. How do you know where someone else's influence ends and your own feelings begin? 8 years into their story, ATEEZ didn't just release another comeback. They turned the mirror inward and asked ATINY to look a little closer. So here's a question for you. When you watched Bad, did you think Chase Infiniti's character was the victim or the one truly in control the whole time? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this documentary from Zenk Pop, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss our next story.